Government of Jamaica Staff Orders, Chapter 1. Appointments. How they are made. All appointments into and within the central government service are made in accordance with the provisions of the Public Service Regulation. Authority to make appointments. Appointments to the central government service are generally made under the authority of the Governor General, acting on the recommendation of the appropriate Service Commission. The Governor General may delegate any of the functions under his authority to permanent secretaries or to any other authorized public officer as may be specified. Appointments to municipal and parish council positions are made by the representative or by the respective councils acting on the recommendation of the municipal and parish council service commissions. Where there are exceptions to the above, the appointments will be made by the appropriate constituted authority. Eligibility. Any suitable qualified Jamaican / CARICOM national is eligible for appointment in the public service if extensive recruitment activities do not yield a suitably qualified candidate of Jamaican / CARICOM nationality, then others may be considered. Okay. But that is, of course, after extensive recruitment activities. Alright. Entry into the service. Persons entering the public service may be appointed on a temporary or permanent basis at the discretion of the appointing authority. Temporary appointment. In instances where the appointment is to a position which is on the public service establishment is clearly vacant, there's a clear vacancy, and the candidate has met all requirements of the position, the temporary appointment should not normally exceed 6 months. Not normally. So that means you can be appointed temporarily for more than 6 months. Permanent appointment. Upon permanent appointment, persons will receive a letter of appointment from the appointing authority, setting out the terms and conditions of the appointment, which may include the requirement for probation and medical certification. Alright, let's look at probation, what that means. Persons who are appointed to the service for the first time may be required to serve a probationary period of 6 months. Okay, so you're in the position temporarily for 6 months. Then you get a letter of appointment. But the first 6 months will be probationary. Any period served in a temporary capacity may be considered in whole or in part in the determination of the probationary period. Let me see. Oh, but I see the temporary appointment is for 6 months. Probationary period is for 6 months. Well, all right. Any period served in a temporary capacity may be considered in whole or in part in the determination of the probationary period. Okay, so you can be temporary and under probation at the same time. Then after the 6 months, you are permanently appointed. Let's continue. It is the responsibility of the supervisor to assess the performance of an employee on probation, and the employee must be formally advised of his or her status at least 1 month prior to the expiration of the probationary period. Okay, so that means if you're on probation for 6 months, at 5 months, you should be, they said, formally advised of your status. That means in writing, a signed letter. All right. The probationary period may be extended with the approval of the appointing authority for a period not exceeding 6 months on the basis of the supervisor's assessment. Okay, so they can keep extending your probationary period every 6 months. Now, medical certification. Employees entering the public service for the first time are required to pass a medical examination conducted by a registered medical practitioner prior to the confirmation of permanent appointment. So you have to present a medical certificate before your permanent appointment is confirmed. Medical reports. Medical reports are to be completed using forms prescribed by the ministry with responsibility for public service. The appointing authority may seek a second opinion from a medical practitioner of choice. So even though you gave them your medical, they may send you to another doctor to do a second medical. Wonder why is it that they don't trust the doctor, or maybe the doctor that you went to recently graduated, doesn't have much experience, and they don't trust that the advisor, that person. But anyway, where a second opinion is sought, the medical practitioner may consult a medical specialist at public expense. The report is not forwarded to the employee's physician, but must be communicated to the employee at the earliest possible date. Where a second opinion is sought, the employee may have his or her physician present at his or her own expense. Well, that would be quite a good amount of money for you to ask your doctor to come to the other doctor's office. You're going to charge for the time and transportation and so on. Well, confirmation of appointment. The permanent appointment of a new employee is to be confirmed in writing by the appointing authority and may be done at any time once the requirements of probation are met and proof of satisfactory medical examination is provided. Promotion. As a general rule, selection process for promotion opportunities should be through competition duly conducted and should provide fair and equitable access and opportunity to all candidates across the public service who may be interested in and eligible to apply for the position. Okay. So I guess they're not allowed to just promote an individual. They should advertise the position and interview the applicants before offering promotion. In exceptional circumstances, permanent secretaries / heads of departments may make a case for a promotion without competition. Example, where the talent pool is limited and known, or where the decision relates to the training and development strategy in the human resource management plan. So in this case, they don't believe they would be able to find anybody else with the required skill. In such cases, the appointment decision should be posted so that anyone who may have an interest may exercise the right of appeal. All right. If two or more candidates are assessed to be equally suitable, then seniority may be used to determine the most suitable candidate. In other words, the one with more experience will be selected in that case. Other appointments, transfer. A transfer is a permanent appointment from one position within the service to another that is equivalent in level, emoluments and benefits. Okay. So once it's another position but with the same pay, same level, same benefits, it's actually a transfer, not a promotion or a demotion. Within a ministry or between ministry and the department of the ministry, the transfer must be authorized by the permanent secretary. Transfers between ministries or between departments of different ministries requires the consent of the permanent secretary of the ministry from which the employee is being transferred, and the appointment must be authorized by the permanent secretary of the ministry to which the employee is being transferred, where the functions have been delegated. Where the functions have not been delegated, transfers between ministry or between departments of different ministries or between a ministry and the department of another ministry must be authorized by the chief personnel officer. In the event of an objection to a transfer, any of the parties involved may lodge an appeal in writing to the Public Service Commission. Acting appointments. An acting assessment is an appointment for a specified position wherein an individual in one position is required to perform the duties of another position at a higher level. Okay, so in that case, you're acting. As it says, the individual in one position is required to perform the duties of another position that is at a higher level. Okay, so that could be like a school teacher acting as head of department or acting as principal. An acting appointment does not confer an automatic right of permanent appointment to the position. Opportunities for acting assessments should be managed in such a manner that they do not result in an unfair advantage to anyone in any subsequent competitive process. Deployment. A deployment is an assignment from one position to another that is equivalent in level, emolument, and benefits. An assignment from one position to another. A deployment is normally at the discretion of the permanent secretary / head of department to satisfy operational requirements or to resolve job-related difficulties. A deployment may be temporary in the first instance and could lead to a transfer. Deployment may be temporary and could lead to a transfer, transfer to that higher or new position. A deployment may be within a ministry, between departments within a ministry, or between ministries. Secondment, all right. What is that now? A secondment is the assignment of a public officer, usually from the central government service, to another part of the wider public service or to other organizations with the approval of the appropriate authority. Oh, okay. That's a secondment from central government to service to another part of the wider public service. Okay. So somebody might be, for example, in charge of a location. It may be a school. It may be Heart NTA. And then they have a secondment to be in charge of Heart nationally with a contract. And if the contract is not renewed, when it comes up for renewal, they are sent back to their previous position. It seems like that is the case. Secondment is the assignment of a public officer, usually from central government, to another part of the wider public service or to other organizations. A secondment may be either for a fixed term with a guarantee to return, or it may be an interim assignment for a specified period leading to a permanent change in employment. Okay. During the period of secondment, the officer's position within the central government service must be protected. That means after the secondment expires, the position must still be there for the person to go back. Their previous position must still be there. Fixed term appointment. A fixed term appointment is a contractual arrangement for the performance of specific functions for a predetermined period. A fixed term appointment is a contractual arrangement. So you sign a contract for the performance of specific functions. All right? So you sign a contract to do a job for a predetermined period, whether it's a month, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, under the terms and conditions specified under that contract. Any such contract must be consistent with existing guidelines issued by the appropriate authority. All right, so that was chapter 1. We're at chapter 2. We'll go through chapter 2 in a different video.